Okay. So, hi.
Hello.
Yeah, welcome back to my channel. My name is Khadija Adeshola, and I talk about everything related to midwifery and women. So today I've got someone here with me, Temi, right? She's going
Yes.
to introduce herself, to be sincere. So she's currently a nurse in Canada, and she's here to talk to us about midwifery in Canada. I know there are lots of informations online, and there are lots of questions in my DM regarding, midwifery in Canada. And because she's in Canada, I believe she'll be able to tell us, more information regarding it. And I really appreciate you for coming to my channel. So, can you please introduce yourself?
Okay. Thank you so much for inviting me on your channel. My name is Timlulua. You can call me Timmy. I'm a registered nurse in Canada. Um,
Okay.
yeah, originally
Yeah.
from Nigeria,
Uh,
but yes, I've
exactly.
lived in Canada for about a decade. So yeah.
So originally from Nigeria, and you're a midwife in Canada. So thank you. And I realized you have
Almost
a
in
YouTube channel.
Canada. Yes, I do have a YouTube channel.
Okay.
Um,
Do you want us to subscribe to your channel? Can you tell us your
oh
channel?
yeah. Um, My name on YouTube is Timlulu Adurjai, so my first and my last name. I believe you can just like put the description there. And I
Okay.
talk about nursing in Canada. So even for like international students who want to study nursing in Canada, I talk about internationally educated nurses from back home who want to become licensed in Canada. Talk about the difference between LPN and the RN in Canada, as well as just share about like life, faith, travel, different things really as I am
And
living.
now decoding Canada.
And the code in Canada,
Okay,
it's
okay, that's
it's
fine.
terrible, but we're doing it.
So I think everyone, we can always acclimatize, to be sincere. So I'm just going to leave the name of our channel on the description, so you can subscribe, like, comment, and watch some of our videos. And of course, when you comment, if you have more information, if you need more information regarding the particular video, you can comment on our video, to be sincere. And yeah, she's going to respond. So thank you so much for coming, YouTuber. Okay. So you said you're currently in Canada, you're practicing as a nurse in Canada, and you're originally from Nigeria. So you're an internationally educated nurse in Canada, right?
Actually, no, I did study nursing in Canada.
Oh,
My
okay.
mom is the one who's an internationally educated nurse in Canada.
Oh, okay. So you did your nursing education in Canada, but your
Yes,
mom initially migrated to Canada as an internationally educated nurse. Is that?
yes,
Okay. So you got lots of information, to be sincere. So
yeah.
like somebody, okay, that's fine. Let's not go there yet. Okay. So my question is, the next question I'm going to ask, I've got a couple of questions, and I'm just going to be, it might be kind of fast or slow. We're going to gist, we're going to play, and we're going to talk, to be sincere. And yeah, it's Ramadan time. I'm going to break my fast as well. So at one point, I might have to take something. That's okay. And I
Okay.
have a baby, small child here, 8 months, looking at me. She might decide to disturb at any point. She's just looking at me right now. She doesn't know what to do. She might decide to scatter the ring light at any point. Then what happens there?
She's
Okay.
planning.
Yeah, so we just have to be a little bit fast. Okay, so do you know any internationally educated midwife in Canada?
Um, I personally don't know anyone. I've worked
Okay.
with midwives, but I don't know like that they're internationally educated
Or
midwives.
not? Okay.
Or not. I just know that I have Googled and I've searched online, but there are a few, mostly in BC. There is
Yep.
a Ghanaian midwife, Bridget Mensa, I believe. So if you Google that, if you're really looking to like maybe reach out if you need a mentor or something like that, Bridget Mensa in BC, as well as there's somebody from Iran. I think her name is, I did write it down, Manijeh, Manijeh. But most of the international educated nurses and most of like when I looked on their website, I know they're very open to people reaching out and to mentor and like help
Okay.
people out. So
So, in essence, you are an internationally educated midwife. You're looking for somebody who is most likely to be an internationally educated midwife as well in Canada, who is currently in Canada. So you can just Google out. Is that what you mean?
Yeah,
Bridget.
Bridget
That
Mensa.
Okay. Okay. So we did get to look. I will personally look up for them as well to see if I can get to see them and to just have it some chat with them. So, and also I already know that it's actually that British Columbia, they do this education and all of that. So I believe there could be lots of them. But then is to get somebody who is actually not public shy, that is happy to come to the public, but because not everybody likes that kind of things. That's fine. We put the name of those two people on the description, so you can look up to them if you're really really serious about it. Okay. Then how can a midwife work in Canada? Is that information?
Yeah, you have to first of all be licensed in Canada to work, in any of these professions. So nursing, midwife, you have to be licensed to work in
So
Canada.
the question should
And
be, how can one become licensed? Like,
yeah, to become licensed, you do have to do a bridging program, because
okay,
then that's when they'll be able to clear you to write the midwifery exam. And
okay,
there's now only maybe about 4 provinces that really have a bridging program.
okay.
Um, Ontario, BC, Quebec, and Alberta. I'm not too sure about Alberta yet. I know they have a college for midwives, but I don't know if they do have a midwifery bridging program.
I only
So you
know
have to,
about two before, to be sincere, the Ontario and the BC. So maybe
yeah,
there is
Quebec
more.
also has one.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So when I read about those things, I said that to be eligible for the bridging program, you must have a permit to stay in Canada. I think Canada PR or something, or is it that you are a Canadian PR holder, or you are a Canadian citizen? That's the
Okay.
information. So
For the Ontario, you do have to be a Canadian citizen or a PR,
okay,
or hold a permanent residence, or be a permanent resident, basically. But in BC, they're open to international midwives, so you don't have to be a permanent
uh,
resident. Maybe I
uh,
will just start with explaining, like giving an overview of the BC program.
okay then.
Maybe that
Since
would
that
just
doesn't
help.
have restriction, I think that would be better.
Yeah, so only BC really doesn't have a restriction. But what happens with BC? So BC has a 3-part program for their bridging program. Um, they You can do the first part online. The second part has to be done in Vancouver. So that's where you would need a study permit.
Okay.
Um, and once you apply to the school, they should be able to give you like a document to help with the study permits, and that would mean you working with an immigration consultant if you need to follow up with that. I'm not an immigration consultant. I can only like provide you with all the information for like schooling and all of that. Um, so that's what you would need for the second part of the program. And then the third part is where you do your practical placement and all of that. So British Columbia has, I think it's only British Columbia that really has a curriculum that works for internationally educated people who are not in the country at the time. But for the other part,
Yeah.
you have to really be a PR or a Canadian citizen.
Okay, I think let's talk more about the British Columbia. So what you're saying that they have 3 part, and the first part you can actually do is wherever country you are. So do you have a website where we can actually, okay, somebody interested in that British Columbia something, you can just go to the website to read everything. I believe everything will be there, to be sincere. Do you know the web?
Yeah, it is IEMBP, like Internationally Educated Midwives Bridging Program, British
Okay.
Columbia, Canada. If you put that in Google, you should be able to come up with what you like, the
Okay.
actual website to go through. Yeah.
IEMBP. Then you're not right, British Columbia. Okay. So
Yes.
I'll also look more to it as well. So basically, there are like, according to her, there are like 4 provinces that offer the midwifery stuff, but the one that most of them you still have to have your Canadian citizen or Canadian PR. But the British Columbia give an option to internationally educated midwife that you don't necessarily have to be in Canada before you start or have the Canadian PR. So she did say it have 3 parts. So the one you can do wherever you are, and the next part is where you must actually have to do that in Canada, right?
Yes.
Then there is a particle placement. I believe that one will not be 18 months, I believe, because why I know 8 months, yeah, it's going to be, much
A
longer.
shorter
But
term.
obviously,
Yeah.
yeah, but obviously you're the one that wants to go to Canada. Do you have an idea of the rough estimates if you want to do the British Columbia now? Just
Rough
because that does
estimate,
not require PR or Canadian citizen. Do you have a rough estimate in Canada dollar?
like a rough estimate of the tuition.
Yeah.
Um, it will cost you about $15,000.
Oh,
Um, so $10,000 is for the program itself. So $500 is actually the application fee.
okay.
Um, and then one of the classes is like, I think the first online part is 1,500. The second part is 4,500. The third part is 3,500. So that's about
You don't you mean
$10,000.
1,000 or just 100?
Yes, it's 500 is $4,500.
Okay, $4,500. So roughly going to be around 15,000 Canadian dollars. So if you have
Yes,
that
that's when you
15,000 Canadian
educated
dollar
student.
sitting in your account at the moment, and don't want to say in naira, but if you have it now, you can actually start your process. So for all of you that is asking me, I cannot go to Canada, I cannot go to Canada, please go to their website, Internationally Educated Midwife Bridging Program, then British Columbia. Is going to come out, then you can actually read about it. And of course, the rough estimate, it may be more or lesser. Be thinking about 15,000 Canadian dollar. However, you might not necessarily have to pay everything once, because the program are in stages. So once you have the money and all of that, I'm sure there's going to be eligibility criteria as well, which will be in the website as well. I'm sure before, I don't know what it is now, you must have been registered in your home country, and you must have had a particular years of experience. I don't know if that's the stand.
It's still the case. You have to have been registered in your country for at least the last like 5 out of 10 years. You have
Okay.
to have practiced midwifery in the last 10 years. You have to have been the primary midwife for 100 births
Okay. I
in the
think
last
that's
10
not a
years.
problem, because that is what we do to get registered in Nigeria normally. Yeah.
Yeah,
You must
so
have conduct particular delivery and all of that. It's just you being able to put your documents together and all of that.
to get
Do
that.
they still
Yeah.
do this thing? What did they is it they this thing they do with words or something? Documents verification.
Like your document, yeah, they used to do the West because they need to be able to evaluate that your education is comparable to what their curriculum is. So the
Okay.
West, yeah.
Yeah. But basically, you just have to read. So, one thing about, trying to see greener pasture is that you must be open to reading and to look for information. So, you definitely then need to go to their website, and which is
Mm.
in my previous video as well. I have, mentioned the website as well. When I post this video as well, I'm going to read about the information myself and copy the website link, under the video, so you can go and read it. Basically, rough estimate has been said, and the eligibility criteria: you must be registered in your home country, you must have at least 5 years of midwifery experience. So for all of you who are still baby midwives, Canada is not for you. But I don't know, is it possible to migrate to Canada as another, in different route, like maybe a student with the hope of switching? Yeah, is
Yeah,
it
you can
possible?
move to Canada with something else. Like, I mean, if you do decide to come in with engineering, Canada is not holding you to keep doing engineering, like
Okay.
because they know life changes, life plans change, so you can decide to go into midwifery school. Um, but also again, because it's a very structured, regulated program, a lot of favor is granted to a Canadian PR or a Canadian citizen. So it might be harder for you to switch as an international student into the midwifery program. Like there's only
Okay.
maybe like 3 or 4 schools actually that offer it as a program because it's like a degree itself
Good.
here.
So it might
So
not be that
it would be
easy to
harder.
actually do the switching.
Yes, it might not be as easy to switch into the program.
Okay, okay.
If you're already
Uh
coming to some other way, maybe you're married and you're coming with your family, or maybe you just move as a PR, you might be able to get in.
Yeah, okay. So you did school in Canada. What's actually the okay, let's assume somebody have decided, no, I really want to go to Canada and she has migrated in different route. And I say, I don't mind starting all over. So I don't mind going to school to start the, the midwifery program or the degree. I understand it's the degree program in midwifery. So you did study in Canada. What was the eligibility criteria to actually enter into their degree program?
into my nursing
Like,
degree program.
yeah, it's going to be like either nursing or midwifery. But in this case, we're talking
You
about
have to have basically have to have your high school living certificate, so like your
certificate.
diploma, or high school diploma they call it here. But like your WAEC or NECO or something that has like your five sciences or your
Yeah.
three sciences rather, and like your maths and English, um, would
Okay.
be the
Is it
basic
that
things.
competitive as well?
Yes, it's very
Is it
competitive. So
competitive as it is?
yeah, it is
So
very
it's still
competitive.
like 50-50. Yeah, if you
Yeah.
decide to choose that route as well. Like, okay, let me go to
Yes.
Canada, then I don't mind starting all over again. You still
Yeah.
have to like struggle with people that are just starting and all
Yeah,
of that as
you have
well.
to
So
still get
basic,
into the program. But I mean, again, if you already have a post-secondary education, they can also weigh that into your
you
admission
know,
criteria.
yeah.
So,
So that can
and
be an added
once you're
advantage.
yeah, and once you're done with that degree, there's already a pathway for you to write the exam right away because they know you already have the education, right? So it's a bit more straightforward compared to if you're coming in as an internationally educated person and you have to like figure out, okay, does my education compare and all of that. So regardless, both of them have their pros and their cons.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Um, that's we're talking about. I know Canada have different routes. So what is the best you think? Okay, for a midwife to come in. So basically, the midwife is it doesn't have that much 5 years experience. I don't think it will still be nice, or it will still can, because now they need to have a 5 years experience. You don't have the 5 years. You've come into Canada with different routes, and then the 5 years experience is broken. You've lived midwifery for a while before you be able
Mhm.
to. I don't think they will then be eligible to apply for the bridging program in that case.
Well, it is five in the last 10 years. So
uh
it's not like it doesn't have to be a continuous five, right?
okay, so you just have to be 5 in the last 10 years. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
okay, okay. And that no now, but this question is not best for you because you yourself you are actually in Canada from the start, so you are not like an immigrant as much. So I wanted to ask, what's the best route to actually come into Canada as a student, as a at somebody that is open at one point she will migrate, she will change to midwifery. So I wanted to ask, what is the best route? Because I understand there are a lot of routes, and before I did advise that they should just apply for the PR first, okay, and also while building their experiences, especially those that are newly qualified. Sometimes you may be lucky, maybe they give you nomination within 4 5 years. By that time, you're already on the road to your PR and you're already doing your 5 years experience. Then it would be nice for you to enter into the bridging program for any of the province that offers it. So I don't know, is that still the case, or there's another route that you think they can, use?
there's primarily only really two or three routes to come to Canada. You either come in as a permanent resident, you come in as on a work permit, or you come
The
in
students.
there's also a visitor, or you come in as a student. Um, so they could either come in as a student or a permanent resident, which are the two kind of easiest to navigate. I mean, the study permit route now is a bit harder because of the changing landscape with the rules. They're making it more tight.
Okay.
Um, but I would say that honestly, if you already have your education from Nigeria, you've worked for a bit, you are likely able to be able to, you're most likely you can immigrate as a permanent resident as long as
Okay.
you already have a professional background. You might not start practicing right away, but you can immigrate and then start to figure out your footing. And
Okay.
think about
So
it
if
as a brand new opportunity to start life again. And
uh, So immigrating, what route will you say now? Is it the PR route or work permit or student or which one?
I personally would say the PR route. I just think it makes a lot of things easier. But that being said, again, I feel like this question it has to be tailored to an immigration consultant to explore your different options. Because some people think the only way they can immigrate is through this pathway, but
Oh,
they have more understanding of like the different things. So if the goal is
okay,
immigration and not just to work as a midwife, then
okay,
talk to somebody, an immigration consultant, to be able to figure out your
okay,
options.
okay. Thank you. Oh, we've answered the next question. Can they apply as a student to any course with the hope of switching? You've answered that it's not actually, that straightforward to switch, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Can the midwife come with family? I think you've said something about that. Maybe some people that have family, can they actually migrate to Canada with family, maybe on a PR or student or whatever we're saying?
If you come with your peer, you put your family as part of your application. So yes, if you come as a
Okay.
student, you can have a dependent student visa. Again, these questions are very immigration tailored. So um
They have started. Okay, that's fine. Thank you so much. What province? I wanted to ask. I think you've mentioned the provinces that offer the midwifery education program.
so BC is the leading example currently right now with midwifery.
Oh,
They let solo midwives practice and all of that. Then Ontario would be the next before maybe
okay,
Alberta and Saskatchewan. So BC and Ontario would be the leading ones
okay.
for
So,
that.
the next question now, as a Canadian resident yourself, what will you advise? Is it what's coming? Can I say, oh, let me leave UK and start coming to Canada? Will you advise that?
You see, I have never lived in the UK, so I don't know.
Oh, okay, so you wouldn't
It's
know.
easy to say, yeah, yes or no, but I think that this is very dependent on whatever the goals of your family or you as an
Have you, have,
individual.
have you have you ever lived in Nigeria? Have you ever lived in Nigeria as well?
Yeah, I was born in Nigeria. I was raised in Nigeria, so I just moved here. So I am an
Okay.
immigrant. um, but yeah, so
So will you say I
I
should leave Nigeria to come to Canada then? Let me leave it that way.
think I'll say yes. If you can, you should move with the way
It's
that everything is
personal.
going.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if you're enjoying yourself there, you have everything you need, is working for you and your family. By
And
all
the
means, move out from
security.
Nigeria. Honestly, like there's really it's a pro and con situation. Most people that leave it's because of the security, right? It's not
Yeah.
necessarily the money or things like that.
Yeah.
They're very
Yeah.
comfortable families back
Yeah.
home. So to
So
decide where
basically
to go, I
it's
think
it's a
everywhere it's there's a lot. Everywhere there's all the things you have to sacrifice to be able to get to your goal. So if you really want to pursue midwifery, think about it as an investment upfront cost that will pay over time.
yeah.
Um and yeah, so that's how you'd have to think about it to be able to push for it if that's something that you want to end up doing. But if it's just moving for a better life, I can't tell you if it's UK that's better or Canada that's better. It depends on your goal at
Basically
the
it's
time.
personal, as I would say. People do expect you to tell them, but my opinion may not be the best for you.
Hmm.
So the best will be you actually figuring out things yourself, make your own
Yeah,
research personally, and decide. You cannot ask for, like, okay, maybe you are confused in an aspect. You cannot ask a particular question for clarification, but not necessarily me giving you who can strain you what I believe is the best. But
yeah,
I did say in my previous video as well, I just thought to invite you as a person that is already in Canada, like, say it, because people might think, oh, she's not in Canada herself. Why is she giving us information about Canada? That's why I
hmm
decided to bring somebody who is actually in Canada. And we've just agreed now that as a midwife, you want to go to Canada to migrate. I think the best way is to start from the PR route, to be sincere. But if you still not, if you think it's not, you don't have that much time to waste and you have your 5 years experience at least, then you can start the BC program, pathway, which at least the financial implication is minimum of 5,000 Canadian dollars, and you can also go to their website to read more about it. To do your PR application, please, you need to seek for immigration, whatever officer and all of that to give you the
Yeah,
information about that.
consultants.
Because immigration consultant to give you information about that. Then, of course, I hope in a couple of years I'll see midwives are practicing in Canada.
Yeah, and I
I know
think
there are a
maybe in
couple of them,
UK.
but I still don't know them yet, to be sincere.
Yeah, the thing is, midwifery in Canada is just starting to really develop a mind of its own. Unlike maybe in the UK, where I think you guys are more developed with your midwifery and Nigeria and things like that. But here we just started to actually be like, oh, let's invite midwives as part of the healthcare team. So there's the potential for growth for sure to keep
Yes,
building on it.
definitely,
As
definitely.
BC has taken the lead on that, I'm sure other provinces over time will end up taking
Yeah, I
initiative
remember.
on that
I
and
remember. I
building their
think at one
curriculum.
point I had applied to whatever, I don't remember, but they keep sending me messages to continue my application.
Yeah,
Yeah, but at the moment, my husband is not happy to go to Canada, so there's no point in me completing the
yeah.
application. So, what province are you, if you don't mind?
I'm in Saskatchewan.
Hey, I don't even know how to pronounce that. That's fine. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. So please, you can help us look out for if you have any other, you know
Yeah.
any other midwife that educated, that are internationally educated midwife and currently practicing in Canada. I wouldn't mind to get in touch with them. I will look.
Most of them that I've seen are also like really like mid 50s, 60s. So they've immigrated for a long, like they've been here for like a while.
That's
So like
okay. That's
32
not a
years
problem. That I just
and
need to
things
meet
like that.
meet with them if they're happy. It's
Yeah.
that they're happy to come to share their experience, or they're happy to just tell me personally, where I just put it up as an
Yeah. Your best
information.
bet
So
would be to like Google those names I told you and just like reach
yeah,
out to
yeah, I will check it. I think I remember Bridget Mensa. That's because I've got a couple of colleagues with that name. I can't remember the second name.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, you
I
can
can
send
send
it
it
to
to
me as
you.
well. I will just
Mhm.
look out to them to see it. Just because people really wants to go to Canada, but at the same time they don't want to go and just forget about their profession. They're thinking what is the best way so they can go and be able to go back into their profession. So thank you so much for coming to my channel today, and thank you so much for making it, like short, not too long, and and we've got the necessary information and confirmation. I think the last question is okay. Link to read more. I will look for it myself and I will add it to the information. So the next is, are you happy for my? Don't forget. Hey, I forgot to say. Please subscribe to my channel, especially if you're looking for something similar to this, like information about midwifery, about international opportunity for midwife, and
Mhm.
I'm
Mhm.
currently looking for that of US at the moment as well. And US really, really pays better. I'm thinking when I found about their pay, I'm thinking, what am I doing in the UK? Like I'm grossly underpaid in the UK. Yes, compared to
Mhm.
Canada to US. So I'm also looking for that
Even
information.
with like cost of living and all of that, like when you compare it with that too, or is it just in the pay
There are a lot of
and
things to
taxes and
compare.
things like that?
But yeah, I understand that. When you look at all these things, you have to look at the pros and cons. Like the advantage and the disadvantage. What you seem to be advantage for you might actually be disadvantage for somebody. Like this,
Yeah.
for instance, the most important thing you want to look at is the maternity leave, and that is significant for people that are still reproductive age, that are still delivering. But when you talk about people that have completed their family, that's not a point. So what is advantage for me might be a disadvantage for someone else. So we just have to be aware of those things and just
Exactly.
take
Those
them
differences.
into
Yeah. Yeah.
consideration. Some people may also be, they may like, saving their money when they have any health challenges, go to the hospital, pay for the service and just go. Unlike you
Mhm.
have to wait to be seen by the doctor as well. So that waiting to be seen by the doctor, at least it will be beneficial for some people that doesn't really have that much of finance, but some people that they are financially stable, they don't mind, that wouldn't be a point. So everyone have their own pros and cons, and what is advantage for me, what I see as an advantage for me may not be for someone else. So we just have to, be aware of those available information and see what is best for ourselves. So thank you so much for really coming to my channel, Tammy. And if I may ask, what university do you attend in Canada?
I attended the University of Regina.
Vagina. Vagina, as in
Regina.
vagina. Ah,
University of Regina,
Reg-
Regina. You'll be tempted to pronounce it as
okay, okay,
Regina,
okay.
but it's Regina.
Okay, okay. And you did your nursing degree in there, right? Okay, so thank you so much for coming to my
Yeah,
channel.
no
I
worries.
really, really do appreciate. The last information is, let's assume somebody wants to contact you. Are you best? Are you happy for that in the first place?
Yeah, I'm happy to be contacted.
Okay, then
Do you want
how?
to provide where? On Instagram, you can reach me at Nursing in Canada. So NURSING in Canada. And
Yeah,
then you can maybe leave a comment on one
my
of my
YouTube.
YouTube videos. So that
Yeah.
would be Tim Luluwa
I think
Georgia.
yeah, I think the best bit will be just coming to your Instagram to follow and also drop a
Yeah.
message if they really need to. Yeah.